Griselda.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only Josh Francis of the Triple F podcast gracing us today at the Hard to Kill. How we doing, brother?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me, dude.
Absolutely. So you're a Marine. Tell me a little bit about your illustrious. What did we do? 4 years?
I joined in 2013, and I was in with AAVs for 4 years, and then got out in 17. Then went to college, and then from there, man, I worked at Vet TV for a little while, and then now I'm just doing stand up full time. So that's kind of the kit and caboodle of me. That's the rundown from Iowa. Nothing special, nothing crazy.
Iowa, okay. All right.
Yes, sir, baby.
So I'm like 30 minutes outside of Boston, and I'm like right on the line of like probably the one of most ghetto places in Rhode Island. And unfortunately, that's where
Which
all the
is a
good
funny flex. That's such a funny flex.
Oh, of course.
The most ghetto place in Rhode Island. You just are like afraid of like the one bad neighborhood.
which
Like,
is hard to do, and
Yeah.
and it's actually like the white grimy place, which is I don't know if you know like white ghetto people, but it's a certain brand of people. And unfortunately, that's where the best food is in my area. So I said I was getting food earlier, and right when I got out from getting food, there was like it happens to be where the ladies of the night tend to dwell, or ladies of the morning, whatever you have you. And the uniform of the morning for these women is usually Boston Red Sox PJ pants, a 10-year-old hoodie, and a Newport 100. And right by my car, I guess she was getting into it with the cops. I don't know what was happening, and she decided to bang it out with the police. So I just decided to have my meal right outside. And the kid that was with me, he's not from my area. He's like, "Should we get involved?" I was like, "No, no, we're gonna stay out of this." But yeah, that's where I'm from. Bro, I can't hear you. Did you disconnect?
What the hell? Oh, okay.
I got you.
God damn, dude. I have one job, and it's to not hit the mute
You're
button.
good. Don't
I
worry about
managed to do it. Yeah, dude. No, it's the type of person that's out there at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Well, I guess it's a year ahead of time. So it's what to be causing problems with the police at 12 a.m. is the type of person.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
It's a type of lady who definitely has 3 kids,
For sure.
and they're eating mac and cheese, and that's basically the only meal they're getting. That's all they're
Facts.
getting tonight.
Facts. So you're in LA now?
No, I'm down in Austin. I'm in Austin, Texas, baby.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So
It's
you've been
been
doing
great.
stand up for how long?
5 years. I started in 2019. I started right before the pandemic, and I actually did, dude. It's crazy. I started and then was like about to move to Chicago, and then everything shut down. And so it was like, if it had been like a month later, I would have just been fucked. I would have just been living in Chicago with like not being able to afford my rent for no reason, basically.
Gotcha.
But
So would you say like your blend of comedy? Do you bring like dark side of the Marine Corps funny shit in it? Because I always expect that from like a Marine that goes into comedy, but I haven't seen that yet. I guess that's kind
so
of hard to
it's
get.
so what it is so yeah so what happens is I write stuff that will basically the first version of the first draft of one of my jokes is always I've always go, okay, this is
Gotcha.
a specific type of joke that won't like land for everybody, and obviously as a stand-up you have to kind of like make sure you appeal to everybody. But
Yeah,
like
for sure.
the first drafts of my jokes are fucking crazy for the most part. Like, I did a spot the other day with like I did a spot and there was like 12 dudes who were all in the Marines, or they were vets, all Marine vets, and I could tell because they were all wearing fucking grunt style shirts in the front row.
Of
So I
course.
was like, I was making fun of them right away. And then I started doing new material, and as I was like doing all of it, I realized they were the only one. I was absolutely crushing for them, but everybody else was just horrified because I'm like, yeah, I was just talking about like we had to put our dog down, and so like I did a whole thing about like how they put her paw print. They stamped. Dude, this is crazy. Not to just do the bit, but
No.
they put my family's dog got put down my parents' dog, and dude, they sent like a condolence letter, and they put a condolence letter and they stamped her paw print on it. But like we were with her when they put her down, so like they didn't do it when she was alive. So then I did a whole thing about how they were like dragged the dead dog and like forced the stamp, and I was doing like maybe rigor mortis set in, so like, and then they're breaking it and doing. I'm doing this, and it's crushing for like 10 dudes in the front. And then I'm
Everyone else
looking
is
out
horrified.
past them, and I'm looking at all the girlfriends who are like, "Oh no!" And then I was like, "Oh, so this isn't for you guys. Yeah, this is a bad joke. This is a joke that I shouldn't say to the masses."
Bro,
But it's
you know
that's
how women are with their dogs, bro.
white women love dogs. They love
Terrible.
dogs. Dude, white women love dogs. They love believing in ghosts, and they love taking antidepressants. Those are the three fucking things. If you had to nail a white lady down, if I could Venn diagram a white lady on all the left side is that.
Facts. Okay.
Those are the individual white lady traits.
So how long have you been doing the Triple F?
Yeah, so we started our podcast, Triple F Podcast. It's myself, Matt Ross, and Jeff Doles. All of us are stand-up comics. I moved to Florida with my girlfriend. My girlfriend's from Fort Lauderdale, so we went back there for a couple of years, and I met those guys. So we started it. We started it in 2022. We started it out of sort of like we wanted to put together a tour, and we wanted to kind of have like a thing to promote as well, because if you're in front of a lot of what stand-up comedy is, it's funny because a lot of stand-up comedy turns into just being like a t-shirt salesman. When you go out on the road, the best way to make money is like selling a product. So the best way to make money is tend to, like, a lot of dudes bring like t-shirts with them for merch or whatever. And so what we decided was, instead of like kind of going that route, was make a product that people can consume. So that was kind of the whole thought process, and it's good, man. It is fun. It's been fun. It's just like a different muscle. You think sitting down and bullshitting and like recording it is easy to do it, but then like to have a good episode is like you have to like think about shit.
Definitely,
you
definitely.
you can't just wing
For
it,
sure.
dude.
That's when I first started my podcast, bro. I thought that I could just, yeah, exactly like you just said, cowboy, shoot from the hip and go after it.
Yeah.
It's when you plan it out and you get the right things to engage people with, it really hits different for sure.
And as it grows too, it's like just like with anything, it's like you learn, you get better or whatever. So it's like funny to like watch back our first episode. It's like, oh, this is
it's
fucking
cringy, dude. It's
dog shit.
I know exactly what you mean.
We're filming with like those like Walmart brand fucking snowballs that I bought for $10. The audio's dog shit. It's 20 feet away from it's brutal. But
bro, in the first episode, my mics were held up by barbells, bro. I feel you completely.
You look like you would do that though. You
got to make it work.
Fucking meathead. What do you do? You work out, like you power lift? You fucking
I try to, dude. You know how it is when you work. It's hard to do it all the time.
What do you do for a normal what's the day gig?
So I'm in construction. I try to get.
Dude, you're a dude from Boston with the Boston Red Sox hat.
Go figure. Cliche if you must.
What, you got a friend who knows how to solve math problems and fucking.
Of course, come on. Hey, that's a great
movie.
Back.
It's like, yeah, no, my roommate, I live with the Navy SEAL who's from Boston, and so I always give him shit because he's got the accent, and he is. I always joke that he's just Matt Damon in that fucking movie because he's like so smart. He got the accent. Anyways, yeah, dude.
Whenever anyone's a friend from Boston, dude, that movie always comes up. It's a classic. You got to give.
Yeah, that's yeah. He always makes fun of me because there's. I've learned this. I learned that there's things that people always do from Boston. Here's some Boston things that I've learned. I've learned that people claim Boston who live in the suburbs.
Of course.
And then that's like a big deal. He gets mad at that. He's like, I'm from fucking Dorchester. These fucking kids are talking about it like you live in fucking New Hampshire, kid.
That's a cardinal sin.
Yeah, that's a cardinal sin. I know that about Boston. What else I don't know about Boston? I know that everybody always assumes that like you like Mark Wahlberg, even though nobody really does. Is like a thing that I've heard.
I fucking hate Mark Wahlberg, dude.
Yeah, everybody.
You know what sucks about actually being from Massachusetts? Whenever you go anywhere, they introduce you like you're from Boston, and they're like, "Oh, say car, say this." And when you don't have like the accent that they perceive you to have, they're like, "Oh." Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that's like it's funny because I'm like the whitest version of a human. I'm from Iowa, and so I get like, I'll be in conversation and I'll say the word bag, which is like not the way you're supposed to say it.
Bag. And
then everybody will stop and be like, "Where are you from?" And then I say Iowa, and then they try to do the thing where they go, "Well, now list words that I should say," and it's just like
same shit.
It's just it's big, fag, fucking bag.
Do you say pop?
No, I don't. Well, yeah. I guess my fan. It's funny.
Like, would you go grab a pop or would you go get a soda?
So I think. Well, here's kind of the asterisk to that, right? I'm not a soda drinker. I've never been growing up, so I never had it in my house. So I really don't actually know. I know that there's one that the people in the Midwest say, but I'm all like. Not to be, it's such a funny, weird thing. My parents were like, no soda in the house, which is a funny stance to take. because my dad's like smoking a pack a day and fucking
But that's funny.
just just hammered every morning. He's just drinking all day, but he's like, but no soda.
Yeah, definitely not.
He's listening.
Did,
Listen, you can smoke fucking crack in the parking lot, but don't
yeah, of
fucking.
course, of course, of
I
course.
don't know why he's Boston all of a sudden in that too. Now just like doing the accent.
So have you actually gone on tour yet, or is that just something you're planning?
No, we've been on tour, so we go on the road a lot. We do so what we normally do is like they call them like off nights. We do like the like Wednesday, Thursday, or Sunday shows at big clubs, which are like the nights where we don't have a big enough draw. The point where we're at, it's like not enough people are gonna come out like to fill out we can put 250 people in a club for one night, but it's gonna be
Damn.
hard to do. But it's hard to do like 5 shows in 2 days or whatever, like
Of course.
because so they'll give us like a Sunday or a Wednesday, but not never like the at the in an ideal world, hopefully soon we'll be doing those weekends, but that's so hard to get to. It's
Of
crazy to
course.
think. It's crazy to try to get 1,250 people out in like 2 days to come and see
I
you.
can
It's like
imagine,
nuts,
dude. I mean, still,
nuts.
you're still kind of new on the scene, though.
Yeah, I mean, dudes do it for fucking dudes will do stand up for like 15 years before they have their pop or whatever, and it's just a matter of like.
Who's your stand up like I don't know, mentors, if you will. Who's the guys that you like coming up?
So dudes, okay, so I guess there's a bit of a loaded thing because there's a couple of things. Like my favorite comedians, like just ever, not that they're not mentors or anything. I've met.
No, yeah, that's kind of what I
I've
meant.
Yeah. So two my favorite comics, Louis C.K. is like I think the best to ever do it. I
Hilarious.
fuck it. Shane Gillis right now is like probably the best working
Killing
comic,
it.
and I love Joe List. Joe List is so
Gotcha.
funny.
That's a good one.
Those are
That's
my
a good one.
those are like my three favorite comics to watch. Those are my three favorite comics to watch. But then as far as like like being in Austin, it's great because you never know when you're gonna you'll just be in a place and you'll be able to go in and you never know who's gonna drop in. So it's like cool to see like local dudes. Like there's dudes out here that are crushing it as well. Like I really like Casey Rocket. I don't know if you've seen Casey Rocket before. I would
I'll look
check
into
him
him.
out. He's super funny. He's such a unique person to watch because it's like one of those things where you just don't know what he's gonna do because he's kind of like I don't even know how I would describe it, but he's just kind of like he's just such his own person that it's like cool to watch somebody that has like such a unique thing. And then I feel like I'm so not that. I'm like, damn, dude, I want to stand out the way that dude stands. Because you go up, when he goes up, you're like, oh, this is different than everybody else. And then I just have to go up and be like another guy being like,
Well, see, you
well,
can see that
Zane's
so much more
hard.
because this is like a sport to you, dude. You can like stand-up
Yeah,
comedy is much different to guys that are actually in the game. You know what I'm saying?
it's just like anything, it's like peeking behind the curtains and seeing how sausage is made or whatever.
For
Because then
sure.
it's like once you start it, now it's like a weird thing because once you start this, it's just like anything, like if you I don't know, if you're a mechanic your whole life and
I hear
then
you.
somebody starts fucking trying to fix up a car, you're gonna be like, well, you're fucking doing it so wrong or
I
whatever.
get
You
you.
know what I mean? Like everybody's
For
got their
sure.
own process. And that's how disconnected with the real world I am, by the way. I just tried to use an analogy that didn't make sense. That's how fucking much of a pussy I am
I
now in
was
my
letting you
old
go with
agenda.
it, dude.
Yeah, I was like, listen, if you're a mechanic and somebody's trying to fix a car and you're also a mechanic, like, what am I doing? What am I fucking
Oh
even trying
shit.
to say? But it's just like anything, once you start diving down, you see the process, you can
I
kind of,
get you.
it's like a deeper appreciation. And so you get
For
to go
sure.
like, oh, fuck, this dude's got something. You know what I mean?
Honestly, dude, I've loved comedy my whole life, and I think I can appreciate how intelligent a lot of the comedians actually are because when to get your comedy to just hit for everybody, you really have to be a certain type of person that understands like human behavior, if you will.
Yeah. So I think that it's funny because I've heard people say, like, I don't know. I guess it's kind of,
You get those, and then you get guys that can just do it. You're saying
I
that
think,
aren't.
well, it's not even that because I do think that there's something there. Like, there's something. Like, I think that as far as like emotional intelligence, because there's definitely different types of intelligences, you know what I mean? Like, but there's like as far as like emotional intelligence, I think you definitely do have to have something to be a comedian. But also like, I don't know, it is funny because I've had people come up to me and be like, that like I've had this there's a specific joke and people will be like, that joke about pavilion is actually like, really smart if you think about it. I'm like, oh, I wasn't thinking about that at all. You know what I mean? When I said it, because what happens is you say something and you basically, how I can describe like how you build an act or whatever is you kind of have things that you think are funny. You go out in front of people and you say it and you come out, maybe you write like a new 10-minute thing and then that turns into like, okay, you say it once and maybe minutes of it kind of got them laughs. So then you kind of hone in on that 6 minutes, and then you start realizing, well, maybe after I focus in on this, maybe there's only 2 minutes of this that's actually worth anything. And then you start doing the 2 minutes, and then you chop off 30 seconds of that. So then you start with a 10-minute idea, and then it gets to a minute 30. And the reality of it is, like, at least for me, I guess I'm speaking maybe as an individual here, but it's like, I'm never like, I'm just I kind of go up there with loose premises, see what hits and what doesn't. So it's not like this whole thing where I'm like sitting and thinking like I'm gonna say this and then that and writing everything out. It's like you go up there and then I go up there and I kind of just take it. I have ideas where I want it to go, but for the most part, it's sort of like if I say something and it gets a reaction, then I go, oh, I'm gonna lean into that. So
Gotcha.
it's like kind of the way I write is more like go up there with an idea, don't really know, and I don't really know what's going to come with the idea. So it's like, okay, I have a thought. Maybe my thought is, I don't know, like, I don't know, maybe it's like getting my tires changed is kind of the concept is that I'm like working about, like, like, okay, I had to get my tires changed. So then I'm thinking, I'll go up there and I know that what I want to talk about is like my interaction with the mechanic making me feel like I'm not a man or something. And then like I want to talk about what do they do with old tires and what do they do with and like how much are tires or whatever. So then I go up there and I know these 3 bullet points are kind of what I want to get to. I don't know what I'm going to say. I just know that these are the 3 things that I'm thinking about right now when I think about
Gotcha.
it. You know what I mean? So it's
Gotcha.
never like the writing process isn't for me anyways.
I'd say
A
that,
thing
dude,
where it's like
I'd kind of compare that to when I try to get to go viral, if you will, dude. The only things that I've gotten to go viral are things I would never expect for them to go viral.
so
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and yeah, to bring it full circle, which is why like when people are like, "Oh, that's a smart joke" or whatever, it's really not that. It's
Yeah.
really not
I
this like
wasn't going
well
for that.
calculated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't this well calculated thing. It's like most of the time when people are, it's like you just kind of stumble on it and you go, "Oh, I guess this fucking works." Okay, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
Lightning in
is
a
crazy
bottle.
because some of the funniest stuff that I've heard my friends say or that I've said is never like the stuff that works is good on stage. It's like crazy. It's
So would you
crazy
say
what
the
works and
things
what
that
doesn't
you
work.
plan for aren't the things that really hit like you would expect them to? It's the things that like I don't know. I guess it's a little bit of both. If you like just how we're
It's yeah,
talking.
it's kind of yeah, it's kind of a little bit of both. Sometimes you go up and you go, I know this is gonna crush, and then sometimes you go up and you go, oh, I didn't think that that was gonna be the biggest pop or whatever. Like I used to have a joke when I first started. And I never understood why it worked until now that I'm older. But it used to be talking about like this. I shouldn't be disclosing how bad because this is a bad joke. But it was talking about like riding. It was like riding your bike to get a hand job in like 8th grade. It was like the whole premise. And it was funny because I would like it was weird because I thought this whole thing was building up to a funny cum joke is like what I thought was funny. But I did a whole thing about having to like ask my mom if I could take my bike for the ride or whatever. And that got like a huge it used to get like a big pop. And I never understood why that was supposed to be because I'm like, no, that's not funny. What's funny is me going and getting jacked off. And then when I look back at it, it's like, well, people are relating to the fact that you used to have to be like, hey, mom, can I, like, it's like a relatability thing more than it is anything. So you start saying it and you don't think about the fact that like people are going to laugh because you're just saying your experience, but they'll
Gotcha.
be like, oh, I used to have to ask my mom to ride my Huffy to across town. You'd be like, oh, I'm going to go hang out and play basketball at Chad's. And like, then like you would go over and get jacked off by
Tell this
fucking Brit.
intricate lie to go. Yeah.
So it was like, I mean, it's not a funny joke by any means, but it is like funny. It's like a good example of like, you think something's going to be funny. You think the
Yeah. Yeah.
cum
Yeah.
part's going to be funny. In reality, they like the bike part.
Gotcha.
Fucking,
Well,
yeah.
hey, bro, I know you got something to do. I'll get you out of here so you're not late.
Oh no,
We'll try.
I got
Okay,
20
cool.
more minutes.
Bet.
No, yeah.
Bet.
So that was I still basically have another hour. I didn't have to
Cool.
be or sorry, my bad. I just have to be out of here at
Dude, so I'm an hour ahead.
it's 12.
Gotcha. Never mind.
Yeah, you're out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Be
Gotcha.
finished by 12:40. So this is
Cool.
fucking. We're in it. What do
Bet.
you?
Bet.
What about you, dude? What's your deal? What do you? What was
So,
your Marine Corps deal?
dude, honestly, I joined when we were pumping out a lot, dude. So we went
Yeah.
over to I deployed most of my time in the Marine Corps, and I hate talking about my time in the Marine Corps because I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or anything, but I got shot in the head in Afghanistan, so it was yeah I know
You got a
there's a lot to
scar?
unpack. What? No.
No.
It's in the process actually because I basically was attached to an infantry unit, and when we got back from the deployment, we just went back to Okinawa, and they went back to 2-3 in Hawaii, and they basically went back to their parent command, and everyone got a bunch of medals, and I ended up going back to Okinawa. We didn't get anything that all the guys who were with us got. So it's like
Brutal.
a process of contacting back the OIC, getting it back, putting all your paperwork back in, and trying to get all your shit approved while you're out of the military. So it's a process.
Dude, yeah. Do you have? Well, fuck, dude. Okay.
So I have all the write-ups from the guys that were with me, all the statements, and I got my OIC that was with me to write a whole review about it, and it's been implemented in and shot to the parent command in Quantico, and it's like in the process right now of getting approved.
Oh, wait, sorry. What? Sorry, what getting approved?
Purple Heart and a Combat V.
Oh, fuck. Oh, that's sick. Yeah, it sounds like it's well
Why,
earned.
what
I
were you
was
talking
wondering.
about?
Oh, I wondered if you had like because you have the hat on. I was gonna see if you had a
Oh,
scar.
no. So it grazed me right here, dude. So
Yeah, yeah.
it like burnt like through my helmet, and I had like it was gnarly. So
Sorry, that's probably a bad
I should probably
question
tell
to
you what
ask
happened.
somebody who got. Well, yeah. I want to hear about it. It's also probably a bad question for me to go. Hey, by the way, you got
No,
shot.
you're good.
Do you have
I
a
don't mind.
scar?
So I was in Helmand Province in Afghanistan, and we got a QRF to go out to a patrol base that we had set up that was getting attacked by the Taliban. It was one of those instances that I got woke up at like 3 a.m. We fucking all ran out to the trucks. I was in my fucking boxers, a skivvy shirt, and my flak and all my shit. And we went out to this motherfucker that was getting blasted on, dude, at night. And you can imagine all you see is like tracer rounds and muzzle flashes. And I think you can appreciate this in a situation like that. You have no fucking idea what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's chaos. I don't care how John Rambo you want to act, dude. In a situation like that, it's fucking scary. So right when we got into where we could do something, I oriented left. I saw where we were getting shot at. I started, and I had the Ma Deuce, dude. I had a 50 cal, so I had basically a fucking 20-foot dick. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So when you're behind something like that in a firefight, you feel very confident.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so off the roads over there, it's all wadis. So if you're in, do you know what a MAP-V is or an MRAP?
I know. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So when you're on top of one of those and you hit a wadi, the only thing that moves is you. So you go straight into the fucking. So it's being able to. I never appreciated how hard it was to engage an enemy from a moving target until doing something like that. Because don't get me wrong, shooting stationary at a range is all well and good, but when you're getting shot at, bouncing up and down, dude, it's not fun. But anyway, so I went off this wadi, and all my ammo from my machine gun got ripped off. So I had to use my secondary weapon. And I had like, now that I think of it, like I had like one like Call of Duty moment in like my moment of like fame, you know, in my head, you know what I'm saying? The thing I'll think of when I'm old and I'm telling stories. So we were probably like 20 feet away from this like over there. The Taliban has one go-to vehicle, and it's a white Sriracha. It's like a white station wagon. That's what they're thugging in over there. I don't know if they have like a contract with whoever sells those, but that's all they have.
That would be funny. They're sponsored by Toyota.
I swear to God, there's something going on there. But anyway, so the last thing I can remember seeing is this guy, and now that I think of it, he must have been making peace with his God, because he knew what he was about to do. He was going to die, because I saw him like go like this, and he put his little scarf on his head, and then he went out the window aiming at me with a PKM machine. A PKM is a giant fucking machine. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I remember is him rattling off shots, and I took my M4 and I fucking blew his head off. And that was my moment of fame right there. Yeah. That's like what you would want. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we all think of. That's
a Mark Wahlberg moment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You made Mark Wahlberg proud in that moment, dude.
That's dude. Honestly,
did you hit when you hit it? Were you like, "Go Sox"? And then you fucking just.
Dude, it's funny you say that, because that's honestly why I hate Mark Wahlberg. He's always that guy in the movie that gets that role. Everyone.
It's so crazy. So we were talking about this because, have you seen Patriots Day?
Of course.
So, you know his famous quote, Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, wait. No, I don't know why I just associated Patriots Day with the Mel Gibson. Yeah. No, I haven't seen Patriots Day.
Fuck, what's the movie Mel Gibson?
You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah, why can't I think of it now? It's something Patriot. The Patriot.
The
Patriot.
The Patriot, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen Patriots Day is Mark Wahlberg and the marathon bombing.
Boston Marathon. Yeah, so that movie. So it's so crazy because Mark Wahlberg very famously said that if he was on the planes during 9/11, that it would have went down differently. You remember that quote?
Oh,
So
it's the same type of guy that would have punched the drill instructor in the face if he joined the Marines.
yeah, he very famously said that. And then the movie Patriots Day is essentially just Mark Wahlberg living out his fantasy of what
Oh
he
my
would have done
gosh.
if he was there during the bombing, the marathon bombing. He's literally starts out where he's like, "I'm just a cop. I'm not fucking pull people over. I'm a good guy." And then like it shows like the bomb being planted. He somehow is just like a street cop that solves
Of
everything.
course.
And then
Of
he
course.
gets to the place, and he's of course the guy who gets into a shootout with the fucking terrorist, and he's the guy who arrests him and pulls him in, and he's like,
Yeah.
and it's like it's just the quintessential Mark Wahlberg movie, and it's so goddamn funny when you put it in the perspective of like he really thinks this.
He
Like
does.
he like, oh, I think that if I was a
Yes.
cop that day, this is exactly how it would go down. It's like
Do
Mark,
they let him
you,
write his own like parts
I'm
in the
I'm absolutely sure Mark. I'm gonna Google who.
I guarantee it. There's no way that he doesn't.
I want to see who wrote it and directed it, because
I would not be surprised.
there's absolutely no way that it is not him. You know what? No, I can't. It wasn't him. But what I can imagine happening is what I feel like would happen is they go, "Hey, Mark, this is what happened. This is actually what happens. I know exactly what happens. Some fucking guy, some writer is like, oh my God, my last three fucking things tanked. I can't get anybody attached to this fucking film. I need to get money. I have my fucking kids' tuition's coming up. I need a bag." And then he's like, you know what we could do? We could cater a movie to Mark Wahlberg being an
The same thing
egomaniac.
that's worked the last 16 movies
Yeah,
with Mark.
and then Mark read it, and he was like, "This is fucking amazing."
I
He's
love
like,
it.
what if I had a scene there where I was fucking like in a shootout with a terrorist, and I just get a fucking totally smoke one?" And they're like, "Well, Mark, that didn't really happen in real life." And he's like, "But I don't fucking care. It's a fucking movie,
No.
and I'm Mark Wahlberg.
If I was there, yeah.
If I was there,
Yes.
that would have been a shootout. If I just want to let you know, if I was there, that would have been a shootout." You know what's funny is he's actually, this is the thing that I think, like I've thought about this for like a lot of like I get in like are certain people like Jake Gyllenhaal's a great example, I think, of it's like, is he like an artsy dork? Yeah, he's at the end of the day, he's a thespian. You know what I mean? He's like going and being like, he's taking time and crafting an idea of a character, and he's kind of doing art, which is inherently kind of like lame. But
For sure.
on the counter side to that, the roles he takes, it's like he's a fucking cop in South Central, he's a boxer, he's a Marine in Jarhead. So then he have to train, and then they get these
That's
skills.
true.
Like you can't fake him doing a like speed bag and him throwing combos and
For
getting
sure.
like working at the gym.
No, I hear
He
you.
has to be able to
So
coordinate
inherently
that.
they become that, you're saying, to a certain
Yeah, in
degree.
a little bit is what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like funny because it's like obviously you can't be like, well, like Mark Wahlberg. I confidently think Mark Wahlberg would beat the living shit out of me.
Oh, no one's saying that, but still
It's
he's that.
just it's just the fact that it's like he in his mind he's kind of like, but I really think this is what would happen.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what the issue is. That's what the
I'm
issue
happy
is.
you can understand that.
It's the issue isn't because it's like if I think that like I think that the same way that I think like fucking Keanu Reeves would like be an absolute beast in a gunfight. I think he would.
Yep.
He's trained for John Wick for so
Yep.
long that
The only
he's
reason you
trained more
can
than
make
me.
that look good, bro, is if you fall in love with it to a certain degree to make it look good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's the
you
only way it
have to
can
be
look good.
obsessed with it. You have to do he
For
does
sure.
dude, there's zero chance Keanu Reeves has done less. I think there's zero chance I've done more gun drills than Keanu Reeves. Keanu
Hands.
Reeves has a million times over done more than I have. I also, this is the thing. It's funny because with when people just find out, especially out here, like when I'm dealing with like other comics, just people in general who didn't go to the military, and like
Yeah.
the comics are sort of the exact opposite of the military in the sense of like what it is that you do.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
because the military is very much shut the fuck up and do what you're told, and comedy is very much like listen to me, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
I never
And
thought of
it's
that.
like, and so it's very much the opposite. So it is funny when people like, because I think that people have a conception of what the military actually is versus what military
Of
is versus
course.
what it
Of
actually
course.
is. Because
Of
people
course.
will be like, I was in a green room the other day, and there was like a dude who played like D1 football, like there's like a comedian now. And one of my buddies that was like a comic is like, dude, do you think you could beat him up? And I was like, what? And he's like, well, you were in the Marines. Do you think you could beat him up? I'm like, fucking no, dude. He's fucking 6'5". I'm 180 pounds. He's 260 pounds. He's like, yeah, but you're like trained. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, what are
I
you
know.
talking about, dude? Dude, I
I get
fucking
that all the
did.
time, dude.
I was like, dude,
Yeah,
I know
you know certain moves you can just shut people off, right? Yeah. No, dude.
fucking no.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What are you? Yeah, dude. What I'll do is I'll just call Mark Wahlberg to solve my.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Mark. I do think that's a funny thing though, because I think people do assume that it makes you kind of. Not that it doesn't teach you things, of course. But it's also like, dude, like I don't know.
Reality is reality sometimes. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
if you took 6 months of jujitsu, I've never taken it. You could
Yep.
fuck me up. You
Yep.
could absolutely maul me. It doesn't matter that I was in the military. It's not like you
Facts.
know.
Facts.
It's one of those things. It's like I saw a quote one time, and this is what makes me feel better about myself. I go, there's a difference. There's a difference between a warrior and a yeah. That's what I think. I go, yeah, you can beat me up, but can you speed reload a 50 cal, huh,
Yeah, yeah,
motherfucker?
yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
How good are you at fucking setting the fucking yeah, how good are you at doing the fucking now I can't even think about it. Jesus Christ, what's it called? Timing and
Timing.
headspace and timing, dude. I still could fuck. I bet I could do that.
Of course
I
you
bet I
could,
could
dude.
do
It would
it.
just fall.
I
You'd
bet I
fall
could
right
do
back
it.
into it.
Yeah, it's muscle memory. Well, I
It is,
saw,
dude.
Grunt Style. If you know Grunt Style, those dudes brought me and my buddy out to like shoot and drive it. So they have like this place called there's a place out in Texas called Drive Tanks. And I don't know if you know, like, you know who, like, Mr. Beast, obviously, like the
Yeah.
YouTuber. So
Yeah.
if you watch all of his videos where they're like, have you ever seen the videos where he like barricades like a car, like a Lamborghini in the middle of the desert, and then they like shoot tanks and stuff at it and they have to
Oh
protect
yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
so like they put like a Lamborghini in the middle, and the whole idea is they put a Lamborghini in the middle of like a shooting range, and then these people that they like their contestants can essentially form like a wall or like a space around. They basically can create shelter and like create cover and whatever to try to prevent the Lamborghini from being damaged, and then they shoot tanks at it and shit. Right,
Really?
that's like the whole idea, and so they bring in like construction teams. It's like fun to watch or whatever, but they film all of those at this place called Drive Tanks, which is this little fucking. It's like this. It's this big compound out in Texas, and we got to go out there with Grunt Style to do some stuff. And dude, it was crazy. Like they have like all of these weapons. That's like where they film like the Call of Duty, like all the noises in Call of Duty, like the speed reloads, like the noises from the guns or
Oh
whatever.
really?
They all film it there. They have like this huge, I mean, it's like fucking, I don't even know how many acres of this big lot in this land. And so it was fun because they let us, they have tanks there. They have like the Panzers, they have like the T-53s or whatever, like the Russian model is. I can't remember the exact one. They have like the old school, like the very old school, like World War One tanks or whatever. I don't even know the name of them, but like the ones that are like almost cartoonish when you look at it, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
big
yeah, yeah, yeah.
circular one. And so we got to do all of that. And it was funny because it was like, oh, I hopped right in and I was immediately like, I was driving it like I was back in the shit. I was like,
That's badass.
yeah, it was funny just to
Who do you know?
immediately go,
What do
oh
you know?
yeah.
Someone over at Grunt Style?
Yeah, just like well, I don't know. It's just like opportunities from like people, like social media stuff mainly. It's like
Gotcha.
people who have been like, "Oh, we saw your clip when you talked about the
That's
military,"
dope.
which is basically all it is.
Do you get a few of those? I mean, I noticed you do on social media. I'm sure they reach out
Yeah.
to you.
Well, yeah. Well, here's what's the difficult thing about it's not actually a difficult thing, but the thing about this, which is ironic, it's kind of different for a stand up, but it's like a stand up comedian is kind of like you don't want to be just all one thing. And so I find that when I post military stuff, it has the most success, but I hate having to do it because I don't want to be the guy that is just posting
I get you.
military stuff.
I got you.
But it's like because not and only because I mean, not that there's anything wrong with being that guy. It's just as a comic, I want to be like, oh, I am funny when I talk about my family. I'm funny when I talk about, like
No,
my
I get you.
car. And I'm not just funny when I talk about the military. And then also the military. I mean, talk about the work, like talk about the worst demographic to try to appeal to when it comes to like them being nice and accepting. You say one thing in the wrong word. I one time,
Oh my
I
God.
dude, you should see the
Have you
comments
noticed
on
that?
videos.
That
I
why
fucking
I
one time
never understood why that's stupid that we
it's
are
just
our
dude,
own worst enemies, dude. It's
it's
so
just
gay.
said Dude, I said fucking what did I say on a clip one time? Oh, I was talking and I was talking about like getting like pinned in the Marines and like when they take the when
Yeah.
they're getting, and I was talking about that and like people were like, this fucking pussy only got pinned because like you could like if people just immediately were like
You can't just be
fucking
happy for him like he's at the
yeah
level he's at. I never
yeah,
that's
people are just being like, this fucking pussy got pinned. Yeah, he probably only got pinned once, corporal to lance corporal. And it's like, what are you even talking about? Like, it's just
yeah.
funny to be like, it's funny to be like an insult that doesn't even affect me because it's first of all, it's just like it doesn't true, and also it's just like this weird thing where you're going, oh, look at this guy, he's talking about it on a platform, which then means he's a pussy, which then means he probably didn't. It's like, dude,
One,
whatever. It's
shut
just
up.
funny.
Two, you're in your mom's basement talking shit on the computer right
It's
now. Like
just
what
well, what it is. It's like what it is this like it doesn't matter. I mean, funny. It's funny. It's just funny because we are our own worst critics. It's like
it's true.
you would think that people would be like, oh, a veteran comic, I'm going to support him, or like, oh,
Just
a
be
veteran
happy for
podcast,
him.
a veteran podcast. I'll check it out and I'll listen to it. It doesn't affect me. But then what happens is dudes just go like, this fucking mother. Especially, I think the military specifically is a thing where people inherently think because it is a job, it is a tough job, and it is like it is sort of like a masculine, like it's kind of the peak of
That
like,
you have to be that. Yeah, I
yes.
know exactly what
So
you're talking about.
people are like kind of in this headspace that if you're
Exactly what
not,
people think you have to be. They get
yes,
I
if
know
you're
I know
not,
what you're saying.
it's like this thing where they want to prove that like, no, I'm tougher than this
I'm
guy.
more yeah, I know. I
It's like,
cannot
and it's
stand it.
like, dude, like, and it's funny too because it's like at this point I'm so far removed from it. It's like I've been out for like 7 years. What years were you in?
2008 to 2013.
Okay, damn, yeah, we high five probably on the way. Your way out, my way in. I yeah, I've been out for 7 years now, and it's
When
funny
did you
just
get out?
because
What
it's
year
like
did you get out?
17.
Gotcha.
So I've been out for so long that not so long, but I've been out for 7 years, which is like I've been out longer than I was in, and at this point, it's so far apart.
Yeah, I
It's like
get you
so far
completely.
removed that like it's like, yeah, do I have an interest in it? Of course, but then when dudes are trying to be like, like
Then you realize why you don't bring it up ever, and it's yeah, I
yeah,
get you completely.
yeah, 100% because it's just yeah, it's just
You know
one of
what's
those
funny,
things
dude?
where
My podcast is completely for military veterans, all that, and I look at my demographic, and it's everything other than that follows me because of exactly what you're talking about right now.
yeah, it's like
It's
this
just a
dudes
bunch
they
of haters, dude. It's all that is just being a hater. That's all
all
it
the
is.
dudes. I think that the dudes I think veterans when they talk, when they hear about a veteran, they want to like it's not even invalidating service, but it's like if you're gonna listen to something talk, you want to listen to like if you're gonna like, listen to somebody, you want it to be like a dude who's like a fucking like an operator. You want like they're like kind of like unless you're like an operator, you shouldn't be talking.
Right now, listen to this. Break this down with me. This is funny, and this is my opinion. Honestly, a lot of the operators are that just I hate. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. Are that just douchebag go-getter that does everything he's supposed to do all the time, that's always studying, that while we're out at the bar having a good time is MCIs on the weekends and talking to the staff NCO about all the things the corporals weren't doing and just is all military all the time. That when really, honestly, the people that I loved in the Marine Corps are the guys that thought for themselves, the guys that took care of us. You know what I'm saying? The guys that just were one of the boys that were real all the time, that were there to help you. You know what I'm saying? That
So
didn't try
yes,
too hard.
so like I guess I didn't really ever work with like because like the way that I didn't work with like any like operators, like I wasn't ever with like like we never had like anybody attached to us that was like we never I think the highest level of like operator that we worked with was we had like recon dudes in our vehicle, like we would do stuff with recon guys, so it was
Yeah.
never like that. But it's like it is funny that the higher, or I guess my experience with it is the more basically again my experience based off of who I've met, not through real
No, I hear you.
experience. But
Love how
it's
you
sort
have
of
to say
like
that.
it's yeah, because it's like I'm not stealing valor out here, baby. I fucking two UDPs, baby. Get with what I have horror stories about Wi-Fi going down in Japan. Yeah, but it's like the more the dudes who are like I have like a really good buddy who's like from my like one of my best friends like a Marsoc guy. I met him when I knew him from high school, whatever, and he just as he's still in, and he just keeps going, and he keeps climbing the ladder, and he just keeps going. He originally had a recon contract. Now he's Marsoc, I guess, a Raider now or whatever. He's like all these he's got things, but he's so not military. Like, you know what I mean?
Love him already.
It's like, so like he does the, you know, basic, like the long hair, hands in the pockets, doesn't fucking give a shit what his uniform really
long
looks like.
sleeves,
Yeah. All of it, like,
because of exactly what we're talking about, though. I know,
because it's like the dudes, like you said, the dudes who are, there's like we used to call them like there's like field Marines, and then there's like, there's like the house Marines, where it's like there's the dudes who are like by the books. Like when my unit we got a first sergeant who came in from, he was with the band for the longest time. Or no, not the band. He wasn't with the band. He was sergeant major. He was actually really cool. The first sergeant, we had a first sergeant come over who was just off the drill field. He did a second tour of like being a drill instructor. But prior to that, he was all admin. And then he came into the tracks with AAVs, where we were getting attached to infantry unit for workups. We were going with 2-3 actually as well.
I was with 2-3.
Yeah. So we attached to them, and we started doing workups with them. Or was it 1-4? It was either 2-3 or 1-4. I can't remember which year it was. But anyways, he came through and was I mean, I've never seen somebody who was he was the most squared away person I've ever seen, but the most incompetent operator I've ever seen. Where
that
like
usually goes with it, dude. That goes hand in hand.
It was like I've never seen somebody show up with a better uniform, like a nicer uniform, you know, like he would be, you know, he was the like everything
squared away,
Yeah. 15 minutes prior type of dude.
Oh yeah.
But then I had to show him how to put on a vector sling. Which was like crazy. And I'm like, dude, you're a first sergeant and you're asking me how to put on a sling to your rifle. That's crazy. I had to, and then, I mean, yeah, I had to show him how to break down a 50 cal too. I remember we were at an armory, and it was just me and him and like 3 other dudes that we were getting a couple things. We were doing a display thing where we were going to like show it was kind of like, what the fuck do they call those things? The dog and pony shows or whatever. So we were like, when they like bring like
you're saying like, yeah.
We were doing like a family thing, and he was he was like, "Hey, Devil Dog, I haven't been in the fleet. I was just off the drill field. I need you to show me how to put the sling on." I'm like, that's crazy, because he did a black scent. He was a white guy with a black scent. It was crazy. And I was
going to ask you.
White guy with a black scent, and he was just talking, and he was like having trouble putting a sling on a rifle, because it was like, the vector slings I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because he was like, we, over on the drill field, we used the the drill slings, the green ones with the boot.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh man, you're here, and we're about to do workups, and then like
that's embarrassing.
It was, and then he had to get relieved, which is funny. It's funny to get relieved in front of, and it's funny because talk about worst case scenario for that guy.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, dude, if you put that guy in like a logistics battalion, he's like, or like if you put him in like an S1 shop, he's the head guy.
Yeah. Put him in a field, any kind of field capacity though, he's ironed up.
Yeah. You put him, let him try to run a patrol. Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Usually those things do not work, dude. When you have a guy, honestly, whenever you're deployed, dude, and you go after being on patrol, you go into like a main chow hall, or like on a fob that has a big chow hall after fighting for the past week, you have some moto ass first sergeant, gunny, stat, whatever it is, come up, hey, Devil Dog, when's the last time you shaved? Dude, like that's what you're worried about over here? Like, come on, man. Like,
I think that there is some type of balance that does need to happen, but I agree. There's an extreme to both sides, that's the issue with everything always. It's always, with not even military, just the extremes on both sides can always, because then it's like, that's how you view, whatever. It's like, oh, you don't want, because they think like, if we're bringing it in the military world, it's like, well, then if you always think, well, every combat MOS is that way, but it's like, that's actually not the truth. And then every infantry guys does, or like any combat job, is they're all shitbags, which is also not the truth. Because then it's like, yeah, they might be. It's just like there's a balancing act. It's kind of that thing. It's like you need the infantry to not give a shit about their uniforms and not give a shit about
they can focus about the real things.
So they can focus on the real things, and then you need the other guys to be like, no, this is the military. We have to image to uphold. And
I hear you exactly, and honestly, sometimes that's why we're looked at as Marines when we're not in the field, because we harp on keeping those things important. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
when
Dude, going to the field, bro. Fucking brutal, huh?
remember that? Remember that?
Remember just going out in the middle of nowhere for 3 weeks, just fucking doing bullshit. Just, you know what I remember thinking? I remember dude, anytime we would step off, like the morning of stepping off, I remember waking up and just looking and being at like looking at my my watch or my phone and being like, it's 3 a.m. I have to go withdraw weapons. I have to go get my vehicle ready. I have to go prep the
You know that
vehicle,
feeling
prep
in your
out all the
stomach?
and
Like,
then you
Jesus.
just go, and then it's like, dude, the next time I get to sleep, I have to do so much bullshit. In between here and the next time I have to sleep, there's so much bullshit that has to happen. It's like, it's 3 a.m. Okay, I have to go to the armory. Then I have to get the vehicle ready. Then we have to step off. Then we have to drive 2 hours to the fucking field op. Then we have to do the raid, or we have to do the patrol or whatever it is that we're working on. We have to do all of that. Then we have
I
to
don't miss that.
finish doing that. Then we have to, after finishing doing that, you have to then like kind of do like a
That was
debrief.
the worst
And then
part
after
for
the
me, dude,
debrief,
is because after finishing all that, you still have to go to the armory, break down all the weapons, clean
clean
everything,
them,
unpack all your shit. Oh my God,
dude. And then you get like, and then they go, hey, and to reward you, you know what we're gonna give you? Not a 96. We're gonna
no,
say it's a 96, but we're not gonna give you one.
no.
We'll get you on the back end. They go,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
We should take them out on President's Day. I know the rest of the battalion is getting a 96, but let's get that talk about,
Not
dude.
good. Not
No,
good.
it's fun. It's fun to it's the things that build it. Just sets you up so much in life where you go, it doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah,
I've already
you're right.
done.
Where were you at over in Okinawa?
So you were okay. I got stationed in Del Mar in San Diego, or Pendleton, and then in Okinawa we went to Schwab, and then I
Oh,
did the
Schwab
LF.
sucks.
Dude, Schwab's the land of fucking cocks. What it was AAVs, which was us, and it was LAVs, and then it was recon. Those were
Yep.
the only people, and then permanent personnel. Oh, and so the permanent personnel was the combat. It was called the Combat Assault Battalion, CAB,
Yep.
and
Cab.
so it was all of that. So there was maybe like 7, 8 ladies to the whole base. The amount of testosterone that was just running around, like AAVs, we would get into fights with LAVs just because we were
Do you
like,
remember the
no,
fights over there? Do you remember the fights over
dude,
there? Dude, the fights over there were real. Like,
dude, the fights over there, it was like a gang. It was like you didn't want to
always
walk to the
turned
PX
all white
place.
against black all the time.
Dude,
Every time.
it was always the amount of times it was, because it was the worst idea. They put tracks, AAVs, on the bottom floor, and then the top on the bottom 2 floors, and then the top 2 floors were LAVs. And then like those are kind of like, it's like
Opposite.
a
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
rivalry for no reason. And
Yep.
so, dude, the amount of times that like we would just be like in our bed. I would be like in my rack, like laying down, like watching a movie, and I would just hear like, Drax, get the fuck outside, and boom, 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 and then there would just be a brawl happening between LAVs and AAVs. I'm like, this is crazy, for what? And then you find out it's like over, like, he didn't give me a cigarette, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there's 6 dudes bleeding out of their face right now, and you're complaining, and it's all because some guy didn't give him a cigarette. You remember
Yeah.
the cat? Did you go to Schwab ever,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
bro? Do you remember the cats that would run around?
Yes. Yes, dude. I was on Hanson, bro. I would go all the way from Foster to Schwab every other weekend. Like, I remember it vividly.
It's crazy to travel to Schwab.
Indeed. Now it depends if you're going to Honcho or if you're going with the bus.
Yeah, that's true. It's also just kind of funny to be like, you know where I need to go? The worst part on this island. Where I want to go? The place that sucks cock.
The most.
Well, the good thing was when I was there was because we did the LF Karat, which is like the
Yeah.
or like I think they called it like Cobra Gold is like another term
Cobra
for it.
Gold. Yep.
Yeah, we did that, and that was sick. And it was kind of a nice thing where it was like, okay, when we were in Okinawa, we kind of got to like debrief and like just chill out and like kind of do maintenance on the vehicles and the weapons and whatever, and then we would there. It was kind of all just that, kind of hanging out, kind of just going to the vehicles and the weapons for a couple, go to the armory for a couple hours, then we can go back and do whatever. And then you're just in Japan and it's like beautiful out there. So that was cool.
Were you like one of those guys that actually liked Japan?
No, no. I mean, like, I'm just trying to think back. I'm trying to put a positive spin on it. I got super you know what was funny? When I was in Japan, for no reason, I got, like, super into going to the movies at Camp Schwab, so I just remember
Oh,
going
that,
to
I
the
mean, what
movies,
else are you
like
gonna do?
I know, but it was just funny because I was just going to, like, anything that they had out. It's so funny. I'm being upset because they, oh, fuck, what there was this string of movies that came out, and I think it was, like, Get Hard with Will Ferrell, and nobody wanted to
Yep.
go with me, and I didn't have a my Liberty card got revoked, like, everybody's
Oh
Liberty
my
card got
God.
revoked to the
Forgot
point
about
where
that.
yeah, remember Lars?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
but, like,
Remember trying to get
everybody's
back on
Liberty
base drunk as shit before fucking
Liberty cards got taken away, to the point where it's like the only way that we could go out was with like a group of 4 people, and I like couldn't get 4 people to come and see Get Hard with me. So I was throwing like a hissy fit. I was like, "You guys are all fucking
nice.
pussies!" Like drunk. I'm like, "You guys are all fucking pussy bitches. Somebody come and see this Kevin Hart movie with me." And so it's like, "What's wrong with Josh?" I'm like having a
You,
breakdown.
you didn't get any tats out there, bro?
I didn't get any tats. I didn't get tats. I didn't get syphilis. I really am not a Marine if you
Nice.
think about it.
Nice. So no yar for you then, huh?
Yeah, I didn't get we used to go to, what was cool was Camp Fuji. I did go to Fuji on my second
Oh, of
time
course.
out
Oh, yeah,
there.
Fuji, baby. Yeah, Fuji was a good
Fuji
time,
was
man.
fire. Going to
I've
Tokyo
never
was
gotten
sick.
so drunk in my life than at Camp
Mm.
Fuji on like the libos that we used to have. For some reason,
Did
they got lit as fuck. I don't for no reason.
did you guys go to Tokyo?
I didn't end up going to Tokyo. A couple of my friends did, and they all got robbed. So I didn't end up going after they told me that
That's
story.
probably a good idea then. Yeah, I did not go. We went to Tokyo once. No, I went to Tokyo twice. It was cool. The so my dad, so when I was
Oh, your
in
dad was a Marine, right?
yeah, my dad was also in the Marines. Yeah, he was in the 70s. And he dad when I was it was like 2015, and I was in Fuji, and my dad had a heart attack, and it was like a really bad one. He was like
Oh
on life
shit.
support, so I had to go back. I got to go back home on like emergency leave or whatever, because we didn't know like what was going to happen.
Yeah,
And
of
so
course.
I booked a. So my laptop was still. I never set. This is the craziest fuck up I've ever done in my life. Not the craziest fuck up I've ever done in my life, but this is such a fuck up. My laptop was still set to America's time. I didn't change I didn't check my American like my
Oh
laptop's
yeah.
time and date was set to California, and I never changed it when I was there. So I have to book this plane ticket to go home. And I'm like, oh my God, my dad's like, I don't know what's going to happen with my dad. He's having this open heart surgery. He's on life support. So I get this plane ticket, but we're like behind a day in Japan. And so or no, were we ahead or behind? There's a 16-hour. Oh, can you hear me by the way?